To my channel, Sunshine Shoulders, I'm Calvin. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I'm truly grateful. So many channels you could be watching. You're watching, man. I've got a special guest today, Michael from the UK. We're just going to get his take on the Philippines, what he thinks about it, what he's doing here, how long you've been coming, why the Philippines. Y'all seen my videos, my interviews. They're just light, to the point. So first of all, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Mike, and I'm from the UK.
Yeah.
Or Great Britain. Sometimes I'm a little confused as to which it might be. People ask, hey, that's a whole nother video, but it's strange that the place that I come from seems to have two names for its country and sometimes hard to find on a list. But
yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, that's interesting because I'm in my 50s and I still couldn't figure that out. I thought the UK and Great Britain were two different countries. You know, I mean, I knew they were in close proximity. Now, what makes up the UK, for anybody that doesn't know?
The UK consists of 4 areas, 2 countries, and then kind of like 2 provincial areas. So you've got England, Scotland, Wales, and then Northern Ireland. So, okay. on your passport, it says... it's a GB, so it's a Great British passport, so it's Great Britain and Northern Ireland. So it's not even like Northern Ireland is just locked into Great Britain. So it comes down to history that I possibly don't know enough about.
Now, are y'all using the euro or are you using the pound?
We've always used the pound. At the time, we didn't opt to use the euro. It's always been the pound, though. We were part of the European club, that union, but recently we've left that club now.
You know, I went to England. I went to Portsmouth, England in 1983. We did what's called a workup, where they take the ship out, the battle group goes out before the big cruise.
Yep.
And we went to Portsmouth, England. I took the tour to London. And back then, you know, you had pounds, shillings, and I guess pence.
Yeah, pound, shilling, pence.
Is that shilling still around?
No, the shilling is kind of like long gone with decimalisation. So in the late 70s, 80s, when we converted from pound, shilling and pence to the decimalised version. So yeah, that's no longer around, unfortunately.
You know, it's funny. We were conversating at breakfast today because Mike, he's staying in the guest house. How you like the guest house, by the way?
Oh, the guest house is perfect, Calvin. It's such a wonderful setup. It's so cosy. It's like a room from home, as it were. And I'm so grateful that you've allowed me to spend a bit of time there with you and your family. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So it's a pretty good deal for free.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't get any better than what Calvin's offering in his guest room for free anywhere in the Philippines, no matter what anybody tells you, for free.
Now, I say this every time somebody stays in the guest house. Marilyn was so worried about the people that would be coming there to visit and to stay. And I said, well, Marilyn, I don't attract people like that. I attract people like Mike, good people. Now, I had that one weirdo, but you have to realize, even though you're only like the 10th person that stayed in there, I've had 30 or 40 people visit my house. He was the only one that raised any red flags. Everybody else was just decent human beings. Yeah. But since we were talking about that, I wanted to talk about that. Now, what part of the Philippines are you visiting? Do you stay here? Or do you live here, or are you just visiting?
At the moment, I'm just visiting. I'm in the Visayas region on the island of Cebu. I'm not in the central city area. I'm in the northern part, up by a place called Bogo City.
Bogo City. So you're close to Bantayan Island.
Yeah. Actually, we're very close to Bantayan Island. It's like a 10-15 minute drive to the port, and then an hour and a half across to Bantayan Island.
Yeah, you said something when we had a conversation earlier. You said you had been to Thailand.
Yep.
Okay. Because I know a lot of UK citizens, that's y'all's favorite place.
It is.
why the Philippines then? If Thailand, because you asked me how I like it, I told you I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
So why the Philippines then and not Thailand?
I really enjoyed Thailand when I was there. That was about 12 years ago. I was in Bangkok, say, like for a few days, but then I went south. I went down to Koh Phi Phi and where the tsunami struck the area of Thailand there. Do you know what? The people were lovely. Very hospitable, very gracious. Food was great. But it was actually some Filipino acquaintances and then friends when I was back in the UK, and who said to me, look, have you ever been to the Philippines? And I said no. And one, she said, I'm from the Philippines, I'm from Manila, but when I retire, I'm going to retire to Palawan. And I said, why would you go there? And she explained everything to me about the beauty and the different places, from the north of Palawan. And she said, well, look, if you get an opportunity, go. And if you do ever go, keep in contact. I've got friends and family out there, so I took her up on that offer, and it was not look back.
Is there anything that surprised you about the Philippines that you wasn't expecting? Is it nicer than you thought it would be?
That's a great question, Calvin. There are different places. There are some absolutely stunning places here in the Philippines. But then there are some other places that might not as be. But I suppose it's horses for courses. You get that wherever you go in the world. You're going to come across some fantastic places and maybe some other places that might not necessarily look as well as you might have thought they may be. So,
right. I know that. I was really shocked. I was in a good way because I had only heard bad stuff about the Philippines where I was.
Yep.
It was only when I got boots on the ground that I realized, well, hell, it's really not that bad. As a matter of fact, it's a good place.
Yeah.
And it kind of grabbed a hold of me. Let me ask you something before I forget. Now, I'm from Kentucky, and I'm considered a Kentuckian.
Uh-huh.
If you're from London, what are you considered?
Yeah, if I'm from London, then we're known as being a Londoner.
A Londoner.
Yeah, a Londoner. From London town.
Yeah, okay. I wanted to get that out of the way because I wasn't for sure. I didn't know. I could have guessed. But
And for your viewers, if you're from Manchester, you're a Mancunian. And if you're from Liverpool, you're a Liverpudlian. Don't say to a Liverpudlian, oh, are you a Londoner? Don't say to a Mancunian or from a person from Manchester, are you a Londoner? They would be really offended.
Yeah, one thing that shocked me about him, I know how big soccer is over in England, rugby, but you actually played American football.
I did.
In England. Tell what position did you play?
I played on the defensive side, and I played either free safety or strong safety. Yeah. So I was on the kind of the blocking, stopping team.
I was kind of surprised because he told me that American football is quite popular now
It is.
in England.
Very, very much so. We used to have a league over there. We don't have the league anymore, unfortunately, but actually a couple of the NFL franchises have now based themselves in England. Yeah. I believe it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. They play a number of their home games out of Wembley Stadium.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to go and watch.
Now, have you found a special person here? I would say, a steady woman.
Yeah, and
I mean, without being specific, you can be general.
She's fantastic. We get on really, really well. It took time for us to say like blossom. We were just like initially friends. Yeah. But it's taken a while, and I think thankfully for our relationship to develop where it currently is, and hopefully will continue to.
How'd you meet her?
I originally met her online.
Online.
I think like most of the people nowadays would meet online.
Do you remember what site?
It was.
That's just to help some of the guys who may be still searching.
Filipino Cupid.
That's where I met Marilyn. Yeah. So I always ask this question. I'm not picking on you.
Go for it.
Because she's probably going to watch this.
She will.
Did you have other girlfriends before? Flings or...
I did.
You did?
And luckily she knows.
Okay, so she knows already. Yeah, right. And I asked you this yesterday at dinner, and you gave an interesting answer. I said, well, why do you think that those first couple of relationships didn't work? And what did you say?
I think because I just went in and just jumped in a bit too quick.
Wow.
I didn't have my eyes open properly, and maybe it was just the way the whole environment, the people just kind of like captivate you, and before you know, you've gone full in, like deep end, no armbands, as it were. And realistically, I should have just taken that step back, taken a bit of a deep breath, and see how the land lies. But hey, it's experience.
Yes, that's right. You learned something from it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, did you? And I'm glad, because I want you. You're bearing witness to what I say on my videos.
Yeah.
See, we didn't script this or anything like that.
Absolutely not.
Because when I asked him last night, I was like, wow, that's the mistake we all make.
Yeah.
We'll meet these women, man. Next thing you know, hell, we're talking marriage, family.
Yeah.
We're living together. And I said the first one usually doesn't work out. And in your case, and in my case, and in a lot of cases, it's the truth, right?
It's the truth, yeah.
Well,
you know, I wish your channel was around when I first came here, because I would have been so much more informed and so much wiser and know what mistakes not to make. But,
I wish my channel was around when I came over here, because every mistake you could make, I made it. But now these have become my secrets. I pass on to my viewers. Yeah. But everything I talk about, I did it. Mm-hmm. I sent the money. You know, I jumped into the relationships. And all of that, everything that I talk about, I did that. Yeah. And, you know, I wouldn't want to be a hypocrite or be plastic. I just give them my boots on the ground experience. Yeah. Now, how did you hear about my channel? Were you just...
I think I was just going through YouTube, as in looking for places to visit in the Philippines. And YouTube, with its algorithm, popped yours up. I just clicked on it, started watching the first one. I can't remember which one it was now, but then, you know, you just got me hooked with your transparency, your honesty, and the way you just share with your viewers your experience and your boots on the ground. There's no airs or graces. You just tell it how it is. And I'm testament that Calvin just tells it how it is, because that's what I've experienced. And I'm thankful for your channel. I really am.
I'm just a regular guy, though, right? Am I living some extravagant lifestyle like they put out there?
No.
I'm just a regular guy. And, you know, I'm flattered when you say that, because we couldn't be any more different.
No.
I'm a black American from over in Kentucky.
Yeah.
You're a Londoner from England, European.
Yeah.
But we have so much in common.
We do.
We was talking, man, I mean, the whole situation, you know, how we grew up, you know, our relationships, the whole 9 yards. Because I told him, I said, man, I can relate to a lot of what goes on over in the Philippines. It reminds me of when I was little. Yeah. I said, I used to eat ketchup sandwiches and mayonnaise sandwiches, and you said what?
we would eat, we would allow the fat from the Sunday cooking to rest in a pot, and we would come home, take that out when the fat and the lard are separated, and we would slap that on a big chunk of bread that we chopped up.
Oh, wow.
And we would have that as our snack kind of stuff when we were kids. So yes, a lot of the things you said just brought back those kind of fond memories of when I was younger, Calvin. Even though we're like miles apart across the pond, as it were, but our kind of life experiences have been relatively similar.
I've got a friend, he's an insurance agent, a fellow insurance agent. His name is Gerald Muhammad. He told me, he said, you know, we're brothers. He said, the root word of brother is other. Yeah. He said, you're the other me. Yeah. So I don't want to hurt my other me. I'm not going to kill my other me. No. And it's just like you, because he said something before I told him that. He said, yeah, Calvin, talking to you is like I'm on the other side of the mirror. Yeah. That's what you said.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I said, because we're brothers. I said, you know, all this division and all these labels and all stuff, that's man-made.
It is.
The earth belongs to all of us. You know, all this stuff is man-made. Mm-hmm. At the root of it is humanity. Yeah. And I think that's where we relate.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
Your kind of ethos and your mantra in that way so relates to mine, to be able to support and help others who want to be supported and helped. And and I'm in awe of what you do, and I'm very humbled by what you do and how you support the people here in the community here, and no doubt they value that so much from you as well, Calvin. So,
yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, he's got a son who's actually practicing for the WWF, right?
Yeah, the kind of English version of
the English version. Yeah.
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's 23. He's a great lad, and keeps himself fit and active. And for him, he loved theatrics whilst he was at school.
Mm-hmm.
Did a lot of that, but also he was extremely sporty.
Yeah.
And kept himself fit. So he thought, well, do you know what? Let me just combine the two together. And now he's doing like the wrestling WWE stuff. Yeah.
It kind of shocked me because I was showing him my Sunshine Shoulders Facebook page. He said, "Hey, I didn't know you had a Facebook page." And I said, "Well, a lot of people don't know." I said, "Obviously, the trolls don't know because they never talk about that part of it." And he said, "Why I'm on Facebook?" He said, "Because I don't have a Facebook. You don't have one." No. He said, "I'm gonna show you my children." Well, his son pops up and he's got this fro. I was like, "Wow, your son, is that an afro?" He said, "Yeah." He said his mother is from Jamaica.
Yeah.
So your ex is Jamaican.
Yeah.
Did y'all get married? Or?
No, we were never married, but we were together a long time, about 14 years.
14 years.
So, yeah. And his elder brother, again, done well. Yeah. They both did really well by their education. And, it was great. And so my eldest, he works at Google now. So.
Did you go to Jamaica?
Do you know, I've never been. I would love to go.
So you met her in England?
Met her in England.
She was there?
Yeah, she was here already in England with her family.
Yeah.
But if I had an opportunity to go to the Caribbean and tour around some of those islands, I definitely would.
So Thailand and the Philippines, have you been any other place in Southeast Asia or Asia, period?
China. I've been to China as well. I've really enjoyed my time in China. I would love to go back to China again. And because of lockdown, unfortunately, wasn't able to get to Hong Kong. I'd love to go to Hong Kong. But now, if I have a base here, which I plan to do, all of those countries are within that kind of range of easy flying.
Yeah, that's a good thing about the Philippines. If you didn't know, it's the location, right?
Location is fantastic.
2 hours and a half from Thailand, about another 2.5 from Vietnam.
Yep.
An hour and a half from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
It's just too close. 4 hours from China.
Yep. Couple of hours from Singapore. If you even really wanted to, you could go down to Malaysia, Indonesia, Australia as well. So you've got such a vast array of different.
What's that say on your arm?
Oh, it's Hindi.
It's Hindi.
Hindi, yeah. So Sanskrit, and it says Pyar Karan Sukh Shanti, which means love, peace, and internal happiness.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was kind of shocked. He didn't know who James Taylor was, but when I took him on YouTube and listened to some of the James Taylor songs, he said, "Oh, so that's James Taylor." Yeah. I was shocked. James Taylor, he's an international icon. I mean, really. But he had heard of Carole King, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, you were mostly into like Rolling Stone, Who.
Yeah, Beatles.
Beatles, yeah.
Those kind of groups, from that particular era. And I suppose that's what's really good with you and I. We're of that kind of similar age. Mm-hmm. So even though we were like thousands of miles apart, we were able to still experience those kind of things.
Absolutely. Music is international anyway. There's no boundaries in music. And you know that because what got us on the subject was you sing karaoke over here. You're one of the few guys who you actually volunteer, you and your girlfriend, and y'all sing karaoke.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, "Well, what songs do you sing? Do you know?" No, ma'am. Thank you. I said, have you ever heard of James Taylor? I was asking you what songs you sung, and you said The Who and Led Zeppelin. Did you say Led Zeppelin?
I didn't, but Led Zeppelin is famous. Yeah. I don't think I've got
what's
that
the other
husky
one? What's Mick Jagger? What's the Rolling Stones?
He's from the Rolling Stones.
Okay, yeah.
But more recently, some of the karaoke stuff, especially for my voice, is like U2. So
U2.
Yeah, sing a lot.
So he's from? Is he from Scotland?
No, don't say that. He's from Ireland.
Oh, he's from Ireland.
Dublin.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And I wanted to ask you about that just briefly, because growing up, we're around the same age. I'm a year or two older than you, a couple of years older than you.
Yeah.
I remember that Ireland and England, I mean, that's the first time I heard the word terrorist.
Yeah.
Was, the IRA.
Yep.
I mean, every night it was something on the news. They were bombs were exploding.
Yeah.
Is that still going on?
No, thankfully not. But in the 70s, 80s, there were a lot of conflicts then. But luckily, with something called the Good Friday Agreement, again, which was helped and brokered from the US as well. I think it was some of Bill Clinton's government work that helped broker that. And actually, there's been much better peace between the two areas of Ireland.
So Northern Ireland, were you at war with Northern Ireland?
No, what had happened is 100 years ago, so in 1922, there was that separation of Ireland into two parts, which then became Éire, Southern Ireland, and then Northern Ireland. And I think you'll have to excuse my potted history, I'm not a historian, but it all came down from, a lot of the potato famine that occurred in Ireland, and they had a lack of food, and so a lot of politics took place and stuff like this, and then there was a division made in the country.
Now, is this your first time coming to San Carlos?
This is my first time in San Carlos.
What do you think about this place?
Oh, what a wonderful, palatial place you have here. So open, so calm and relaxing, yet you've got the city area on your doorstep, you've got the mountains and volcano behind you, the sea. Sapaway just across from our interview and where we're talking. This is a lovely place. If I didn't have my partner, I don't know, I might have opted to possibly stay here.
Yeah, I'd never heard of San Carlos until I met Marilyn, and I never knew this place existed. But when I came here, I fell in love with it. And did you see those little replica buildings that they made in the park? Every major building here in San Carlos City, some artist has created a replica, right?
A scale replica. They're amazing.
The bus terminal, the market, the old city hall, the new city hall. It's amazing, right? It's shocking.
And on your videos, Calvin, unless I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I just didn't realise how vast the place is when you come and do your vlogs from these areas.
That's right.
It's actually quite deceptive, but it's amazing here.
That center mall where you walked this morning, it's vast.
Huge.
You're not going to see that type of open space anywhere else in the Philippines but here. Because normally they would be building, they would be developing. But I think that was one of the agreements to the people who actually donated the land, that you keep it for public use only. So you see people playing soccer, and they've got a tennis court here. They've got a brand new city hall they're building. They've got an infinity pool behind us, and then an enormous regular pool behind us, right? I mean, for a city this small, it's an amazing place, and that's why I stayed here. But eventually, I want to move closer to the water. That's my calling. The sea is calling me, and really, I get restless sometimes. I have to be toward the beach. I can't live over here and say I'm living my best life unless I'm somewhere near the beach.
Well, I can say then, you're fortunate to be in the Philippines, because as you know, we have 7,000 islands. You have so many to choose from, where you're going to be surrounded by water. So do you have any plans on retiring here? I do. Unfortunately, not directly at the moment. Again, like a lot of your subscribers and those who watch your channel, we still have things to sort out back from where we come from. Just making sure all the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, and then hopefully within a few years, I should be here then full time. So when
did you arrive here this time?
I arrived here at the end of November.
End of November. So you've been here, almost 2 months?
Yep.
So when are you headed back?
I'm heading back next week.
Is that a long flight? How long a flight is that from London?
I'm lucky I've got a stopover,
Mm-hmm.
so actually it breaks the flight up. So actually that's quite good. But in total, it's about 19 hours altogether,
Wow.
including the stopover.
Yeah, so you fly from, where you fly from, London to where?
This particular time it was Singapore,
Mm-hmm.
so I was in Singapore for a while, and then off to Manila, and then from
So
Manila
that's
I
a
came
long
down to,
flight then from London to Singapore.
it's 13 hours.
Okay, yeah. So then from Singapore to Manila's not that far then,
No,
right?
it's not. No.
So
But
once you get there, it's like you're there. You're here.
You're basically, I'm on the doorstep.
Yeah. I was talking to, you met Kermit today, right?
I did.
And he was like, I said, yeah, man, this is one Southeast Asia's best kept secrets. And he said, well, just for now. And I said, no, it's going to be for a while because it's so far away.
Yeah.
People don't typically travel this far away.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that's why sometimes Thailand is more of an attraction, especially from, say, those from Europe or the United Kingdom, because Thailand is just that little bit more closer. I think it's like an 8-hour flight or something like that.
Is that right?
Yeah, and then so if they then want to continue, then they can. But it's
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Well, it would seem like you would fly to Thailand then, and then fly to the Philippines. It'd be shorter.
I think so in that way.
In
I
that
could
way,
be
yeah.
wrong. People
Maybe a
online,
little bit,
hopefully
yeah.
you'll correct us in the comments. It may be longer than 8 it probably is.
Yeah, but thank you, Mike. Mike's one of those guys. He's open. He's not hiding anything. And I just asked him because I want you people to hear it from somebody else. You're always hearing it from me.
Yeah.
About how nice this place is. How friendly are the people here, really?
Do you know, the people here are really, really friendly. And it's like wherever you go. But what's nice here, you can smile at people and they'll smile back at you. In some places you smile at people and they're looking at you like, what on earth do you think you're doing, kind of thing. And at the end of the day, it all boils down to respect. You respect the people from where you are, because as you said, we're visitors in their country. And enjoy what they have to offer, be respectful and be gracious to them, and they'll give it 100-fold back in return.
One last thing before we get off here, because they say, oh, you hype the Philippines up too much, they say. Are there beautiful women here?
There are. Absolutely. There are stunners that will turn your head. You know, you could be with your partner, who for you is the most beautiful person in the world, but, you know, someone would walk past and your eyes would then just naturally follow. I think it's human nature.
It's good to wear these in the Philippines, guys, if you want to keep your eyes in your eye sockets, because Marilyn see me looking, boy, she'll get angry. And it's really like a sign of disrespect.
It is.
But you can't help it sometimes, right?
That's true.
Yeah, so thank y'all so much for stopping by today. If you're in America, it's getting late.
Yep.
Before you let your head hit the pillow, please find somebody to help. But if you don't want them late grocery runs, beer runs, weed runs, because y'all drink beer in London.
We do.
What about weed? Is marijuana legal there?
No, it's not. And I don't think it would ever be. But when we say beer, we normally mean a bitter, like a dark drink, not a beer, which people think is a lager. Right. So, yeah, that's where there's also a difference.
You're on second shift, or you're on your lunch break, and you see somebody out in the street, or wherever you see them, buy them something to eat, buy them something to drink, give them a few dollars. In the Philippines, I guess it's about coming up on 3 p.m. on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. You still got some time to help somebody. I know you've helped somebody already today. Not a day goes by, I don't help somebody over here. You actually look after people's pets and stuff over here.
Yeah.
To let them go on their way. That's helping.
It is.
See? Because if I don't know anything else, I know this one thing for sure. When we help other people, we help ourselves. Take care, stay safe, stay COVID free. I'll see you next time.